to the first episode of 5465 Podcast.
Hey, you got it this time.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
got it.
2-1-1-4.
It's the first episode of our sports podcast. How you feeling?
Pretty good. I'm feeling great, you know. Fourth try at this.
Crazy weekend of college football.
Oh yeah, it was pretty crazy. Psycho. You know, first of all right, the upsets. You know,
Let's start off with the big one.
yeah, LSU Bama.
I don't know. I think
Notre Dame
Clemson was
Clemson
bigger.
is huge, and it was
Because that's another undefeated team going out. And it was more of blood that the score even showed. It was 21-point difference, but
should have been about 30. Should have been 42, not like 7.
Clemson's offense was on their own side of the field the entire game.
Yeah.
Run game was working. Pass game, I mean, DJ only went 27 for 39, 191 yards, touchdown, a pick. They threw in the freshman. He threw a pick on the first pass.
Here's the real question: If you're Dabo, what are you doing in the quarterback situation moving forward for next year?
I think you start the freshman next game.
If I'm Dabo, not next time. I'm sticking with DJ for the rest of the season. But next year, it's Cade's team. It's time to put in Cade, and I'm telling DJ you can stay, but it's Cade's team now. You had your chance. You know you can trade. If I'm DJ, say trade.
It's his third year with the program, and he struggled in all of them. He's not an NFL level quarterback.
His sophomore year last year, he put up good numbers. Team wasn't best. This year, his team's actually solid. He choked at the end of the year. He got past the hardest part of the schedule, won and grinded that out, and then with 3 games left, choked. He pissed his pants, and now their season's, from their expectations, practically over. From Clemson's expectations, an ACC championship, oh well, done that 100 times.
Yeah.
Playoff, no more, maybe New Year's Six Bowl. It's not.
I don't even. It's possible that they don't even make a New Year's Six Bowl.
No, I don't want to ask Clemson team though.
Oh, they might be too. What else do they play? They play some other ACC school that's actually solid. North Carolina.
They'll probably play in the ACC championship.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Then they have South Carolina, which will probably dominate. All right.
No, Spencer Rattler's gonna.
Spencer Rattler sucks.
He's not. He's very alright. I'm not gonna say as much.
He's very
This
mediocre.
doesn't get out, but Spencer Rattler's overrated.
Yeah,
He's not a good quarterback.
I mean, he's overrated. No one should be talking about him. I don't know how South Carolina wins with him. It's awful.
I think he just needs the right system.
He had the right system in Oklahoma.
And he succeeded there. He had 2 bad games
And Williams took the spot and then transferred.
to a bad program.
Good program.
A good South Carolina's a good building program.
They could.
They got a good new coach, I think, and their facilities are incredible. I've watched documentaries on their
You
facilities.
sit here words here for South Carolina building program. What's building? Like 3rd place maybe a 2nd place here and then maybe a ranked
Not
win.
like a national championship contender, but maybe like a top 10, top 15 team.
Yeah, maybe. I don't see it though.
You don't pay as close of attention as I do to South Carolina. So I've got family from South Carolina.
If I could pay attention this close to Syracuse and everything they do correct, I could just say, yeah, they're this close away from being a top 10 team.
Syracuse and South Carolina are 2 completely different teams.
I could do it if I just want to pay attention to every little aspect of them.
I mean, Syracuse.
I could.
You can't
I
compare
could.
2 completely different
I
teams.
could. I could look at every little detail of Syracuse and say, yeah, building. I could see them being a top 10 team based off of just what.
You can't.
Like, yeah, of course.
They don't have great recruiting classes coming in. They don't have great facilities. They're cheap.
Great facilities. Sweet.
Actually, it's a great. Actually, not thinking about it, it's a great school, and for players' aspect, it's a sweet city. It's college town.
Yeah, I could just say that. I could also pay attention to
So,
Indiana.
but so is Columbia.
Sweet. Who wouldn't want to play that stadium? But they haven't been.
Who wouldn't want to? Yeah, who wouldn't want to play at
They
Sunday?
haven't really been relevant in a while.
8 years. That's a
Almost
lot.
decade.
Almost isn't a
Almost.
decade.
Almost is a decade.
Almost is not a decade.
8 years?
It is 2 years away from being a decade.
Yes, it's almost a decade.
And you know what? They've got great fans, good facilities. It's a fun school to go to. Apparently,
Probably is. It's
party school. That's good for players.
Well, that was very random. Alabama, LSU.
I'm just saying, like players.
I just don't see South Carolina building up to be a top 10 school for a while.
Top 10, top 15, maybe in the next 2-3 years.
I just don't see it. Alabama LSU. How do
Uh,
you feel?
how dumb do I feel?
Yeah.
I didn't see it
I
coming.
said all day LSU's winning.
I thought Tennessee was just that good. I was on the Tennessee train. I thought Tennessee was them. Like,
I still
I thought
think,
Hooker was him.
I still think that Tennessee, their national championship window closed and then reopened within an hour from Clemson and Bama losing. That was like a loss, but then 2 little wins in one night. So now they probably won't be able to win an SEC championship now, but they still have a pretty, I'd say 50% chance or more at a hope of a college football playoff appearance, which is the main goal in the end.
Yeah.
You know,
And I think it is. I think it's so hard to be able to beat a team twice in any sport.
yeah, if Georgia and Tennessee end up facing in the college football playoff, not at Georgia, which is a crazy environment.
Yeah, that was nuts. By the way, it was so loud. The amount of false starts and miscommunications Tennessee had because of how loud it was there.
Yeah,
I don't think it was because they're an undisciplined football team. Because when they were at Tennessee against Bama, they had like the penalty difference between Bama.
So how do you go to places like that? Like,
And they're college kids. 19, 20-year-old kids make mistakes like that.
you're put under
You never
pressure.
know what's gonna happen.
And
And
those Tennessee kids have never played in that big of a game. Ever. The Bama game big, like that was their
but they
biggest
were
game.
home.
They were home. They see that field every day. They played in front of those 90, 100,000 people.
That's the kind of game Hooker needs to be able to step up, though. That's like that's a game that
He's a
NFL
fifth-
scouts are gonna look
He's a
at.
5th or 6th year veteran. He's got to be able to
He's
He
just a
should be-
starter at VTech, and
be Texas.
Crazy
He
guy.
played really loud. That city was nice too. Virginia Tech. Yeah, LSU, they stuck with it. They grinded out and won. Usually when teams get down to that 4th versus Bama, that's when Bama goes for the kill. LSU and Brian Kelly were able to stick with it. And
usually Saban just completely outcoaches Kelly. I mean, just every little aspect of the game.
Kelly has changed so much, and he's gotten confident since he went to LSU. His play calling has went from conservative at Notre Dame to like kind of overconfident at LSU. And some of the games I've watched, like was Tennessee, they lost 13-40, but they were just airing it out every time. Versus Alabama, going for 2, we would never do that at Notre Dame. And that's things, since they won that, now they have their 2-loss team, their playoff chances reopened up though, which is huge.
Yeah.
I think sincerely, if they end up beating Georgia in the SEC championship, they have a chance. They grind out, and their schedule is not easy. They still have 2 hard LSU, yeah, at A&M. If A&M's healthy,
Yeah, beat
they
Ole
can
Miss,
beat
too.
anyone. They're gonna beat them.
Or, I'm stupid. They gotta be. Yeah, they gotta play A&M.
If A&M's healthy, if A&M healthy, they can beat anyone.
It's zoned out because of this idiot over there.
If A&M's healthy though, they can beat anyone. Arkansas, we've seen them play good football. We've seen them play bad football.
Arkansas's not gonna be an easy game.
So depending
Because we don't know what Arkansas team's gonna show up.
Yeah, so LSU, they still got 2 more wins. If they beat both those teams, I think their ranking's just going to go up even more. And by the time they play that SEC championship, if they win, they could be the 6th or 7th best team in the
We don't
nation.
even know what Jaden Daniels is going to show up for this A&M and Arkansas game. Is it going to be the inaccurate and feels the pressure, Jaden Daniels,
I think he's played good.
or a guy? He's had some rough games.
Yeah,
Tennessee
one
was
rough game
rough.
Tennessee, that was it. Florida
You
State,
you can't play like that. I mean, that loss is going to be detrimental to them being able to sneak in.
I still think they went out. There's no reason why they shouldn't be in.
2 losses, and you lost to Florida State.
Florida State's ranked now.
Yeah, but it's still a loss, and you
But-
can't lose to.
I beat Bama and Georgia, and that way in the year, and they're already a top 10 team.
beat Georgia. You beat Georgia and Bama. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be interesting.
It's just a fun.
We've never seen a top 2 team or a 2-loss team be able to sneak in like this.
Auburn and when they lost to Georgia, the year Georgia won the Natty.
No, 2-loss team get into the playoffs.
Oh no, but Auburn would have. They would be 2018. They were number 2 with 2 losses. They got killed in the SEC championship though. Like bad, it was slaughtered.
Who did those 2?
Georgia this year. Georgia lost. It was Swift, Chubb, that team.
Oh yeah, they.
Good team.
Who's their quarterback?
From
Yeah, Brown.
that was from junior year. No, senior year. No, junior.
That running back squad, or they're deep.
They were good. That was a good Georgia team. Bama team was really good too. Also, on some other teams that struggled, we saw Ohio State had really another
Now the
tough
the
comeback
sit-
game.
the weather situation, the environment wasn't hard to play in.
It's like a home game.
Yeah, it was all red.
Yeah, it's
It was
always
basically playing on a high school
at
field
Ryan
too.
Field. That's how it is. It's always right there for the Michigan State game last year with the first game of the year. Even Northwestern just came off of a Big Ten championship run. They didn't win it, but they were there. They had 0 fans still. It was 70% green, 10% purple, and 20% empty seats. And it was bad. It's a terrible field. Not even a football program. Facilities is good. Also, nice basketball court. But man, it was crappy. But
I mean, it's a ridge school. I mean,
but as Ohio State,
you gotta be insane. I think you have to be smarter, have better grades, and have better ACT scores to be a student athlete at Northwestern than you do at Notre Dame or Stanford.
thing is, this is a good like. It doesn't look like it. Ohio State struggled. Those are the games you have to have.
Those are games you have to kill somebody.
No, but it's good for a football team to have a grit out win like that. And now they know.
Yeah,
Now they know.
maybe it was a wake up call for Ohio
It's
State.
a wake up call. It's like now they know that they probably went in there, even though it's a conference opponent. They still know. They're probably thinking this will be easy. They went out there, terrible 50-mile-per-hour winds. I saw the warm up with Noah Rebel, one of the best kickers in the nation, kicked it from about 50 yards. That thing went back, like bad. It's one of those games that I think you have to have one time a season. You struggle, you grind it out, and that's how you find out who you got. Like, they find
I was
out.
expecting that to be the Iowa game.
Yeah, where Ohio State goes up there and wins 54-10.
Yeah, that's an impressive win to me.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't care how bad Iowa's offense is. That defense is elite, and they're one of the top. They were one of the top in the country until
I
that
still
game.
think they're one of the top in the country.
Yeah, I'm saying statistically they were, but that 54 bomb kind of killed that.
Yeah, I don't know. It just
I think Georgia's defense is probably the best in the nation
I
right
think it's kind of like Michigan lost at halftime. Wake up call. Even though they were playing better than Rutgers,
now. You all said it right.
Krugers, I don't know what their name is, something, Scarlet Knights. Down at halftime, they like, shoot, we gotta grind this out, we gotta win. And they came out and destroyed them the second half.
Yeah.
They went on a crazy swing. It's just, you have to have a struggling moment where you know, hey, we're not unbeatable. We're not untouchable. We gotta go out there, we gotta grind this out and win. That's, every good team has a game like that.
And great coaches can pull out those games.
Yeah.
That shows a lot on Harbaugh's character. And that shows a lot on Dave's character.
They didn't back down. They did. I
They
think
adjusted. They adjusted to Northwestern's run game. And Hall, what was his first name? I don't know. Whatever Hall, number 26,
Beast.
monster.
A great game.
But Ohio State Michigan will be interesting.
They both, even though Michigan killed them, they had struggles on offense. Mainly the air attack. If they get that right, they're the best team in the country.
Mm-hmm.
If McCarthy can slow down, get his, but they don't have to throw the ball a lot. His corner on Edwards and that offensive line, it's so dangerous. Eagles the best team in the country, easily, so easily, like easy. If Michigan's got McCarthy right, you got their.
I think Michigan's best team. I think Michigan's the second best team in the country right now.
Third.
Who's second?
Ohio State.
I don't know. Ohio State's had some rough spells. But it's all about matchups too. You can't compare like, Michigan,
Michigan's had
or you can't compare, Ohio State beat Iowa 54-10, but then Michigan struggled against Iowa in his close game. You can't compare that because it's all about matchups. How does Ohio State match up against Michigan? I think Ohio State's secondary would be just fine against Michigan's receiving corps.
I don't feel like Michigan's gonna throw the ball that much.
No, they're gonna
Unless
run
they-
it down their
Unless
throats.
they have to, they're just gonna first and second down probably be run plays.
Mhm.
If it's anything within 3rd and 6, they're gonna run.
And
it
that's
in.
where I think J.J. McCarthy comes in. I think he can control a game enough to be able to convert third downs, make the 4 or 5 yard passes, control the game. He'll have 150 to 200 yards,
150 to 80.
maybe. You never know. We can't predict a game that's 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, McCarthy could die. I would back McNamara more than McCarthy this year. And, McCarthy's got his potential up to here. It's just he could be a Heisman contender next year. If he wants to stay for his senior year, but this year he just has
He
not.
should not go pro. If he's smart, he won't.
Go pro.
This
This
is-
is sophomore year. He's not gonna go pro.
saying that, like, I thought you said that he was a junior this year.
No, he's a sophomore. I don't know. His running, he can run. He gets out of that pocket. If he can't find Schoonmaker open, he usually runs out of that pocket and he'll get it first.
You think McNamara? Where do you think McNamara is going to transfer to?
I've seen a lot of Twitter talk about him probably transferring to a Big Ten team. They didn't say what team though. They said there's been teams reaching out to him already. He hasn't even entered his name out.
I could see a couple.
I can see McNamara not even putting his name in the transfer portal.
Why's that?
I just feel like he's one of those guys that
What
was
other
giving
ones?
everything to Michigan. No, even though they screwed him, he'll give everything he has to them.
I think Purdue could be a realistic spot for him. I think Maryland could be a realistic spot for him. I think
I could also see him going to a MAC team.
he's too good to be a MAC school guy. He beat Ohio State. He's not a MAC school guy.
No.
I'd say maybe a Pac-12 school,
It's
like
where you get an
Arizona
opportunity.
State, or
It's all about where you can get opportunity at.
yeah. I mean, you never know. You never know who will take a chance on him. I don't see him going to an SEC school. I don't think he's got the.
He needs to go
athleticism.
somewhere where he doesn't have to throw the ball 50 times a game. He'll go somewhere where he can kind of play conservative, running back have a 200-yard game, you know, the running back and a good defense. That's what made him look so good in that 2021 season, was because it was
He didn't
all
even
him.
look that great. I
He did
think
a
Hassan
job.
Haskins really helped that.
For Haskins, I mean, the only loss he had that year to Michigan State, he looked good in that game. He had 3 touchdowns, 250-75. I mean,
Where's Haskins at now?
Haskins, he's on the Titans. So he's not really an NFL back.
No, he's just not built for it.
He had one game. That was Corbin's year until that game.
These next 3 years will really define what Michigan's program is building. They're not an NFL factory. These kids will want to go there.
No, they're becoming an NFL factory. They're gonna keep getting these 5 stars. Even teams will see they got like a Michigan kid. They'll take a chance on a kid from Michigan more than a kid from Utah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They'll take a chance on a Michigan kid over almost probably any team in the country but Bama, maybe Clemson and Georgia.
Yeah.
I would too. I mean, it's Michigan. Some of the best NFL players of all time from their position that came from Michigan. Anyway, getting on from that, you know, Pac-12 is actually really interesting conference right now with Oregon, Utah, and UCLA.
Oregon, Utah, and UCLA. I think
Sorry, USC. Frick Utah's.
Utah's done.
U-
That
U-
Florida loss really killed them.
USC, UCLA, and Oregon. That's
I think the only team that has a chance of sneaking in is Oregon. I know that 49-3 loss was horrible.
terrible. But they have not played anyone remotely down to a team like that since that game. I mean, they've only looked better. Every week they're getting better.
They're dominating everybody.
It's every week they're getting better. That's how, I mean,
Well,
if they get in, they can
This
get
is
in.
looking like a playoff quarterback. I mean,
Teams that lose the first week can get better every week off of like a building
if
stone.
it wasn't for that Georgia week, I think they'd be a top 3 team.
I also see USC though. I mean, they
USC struggled against a lot of teams, and they lost to Utah, which isn't great.
at Utah though. I mean,
Yeah.
Utah, they're a top 15 team. If USC wins out in the right circumstance, they're in.
The right circumstance.
That
So the
was-
circumstance would be TCU loses to Texas.
And that's about it, really. Is then unless they're
Oregon, they beat Oregon.
LSU loses,
LSU loses.
and,
And that's saying that Tennessee and Georgia won't be a 2 SEC team.
yeah, I can see from right now what I think it'll be Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, and then Tennessee 3. Then that 4th spot is just up for grabs. It could be another big. It could be
I think Georgia's basically a lock.
Georgia, unless they screw up and lose to, I don't know, who they at Kentucky, which is a hard place to play, but they're gonna win.
I think Levis is just, I don't think,
It's a good roster. They struggled a lot. That Ole Miss loss really killed their momentum. They had a great season going. A lot of the injuries screwed over. That they would be Ole Miss. I think this is a completely different Kentucky team. It was that game just killed it. That game, because a bunch of young sophomores, freshmen behind Levis. After they lost that game, they just kind of, it felt like they just stopped what they had going. I don't know. Stoops is building up. They're building a program now. Kentucky in the next few years, I can see them being like a Tennessee kind of run, just because of the kids they got. Stoops he's out recruiting big dogs right now. He's getting kids on campus. Something Kentucky's football was never seen what Stoops has done in the last 3 years for them. But anyway, I still think Georgia will probably steamroll, and then they'll be.
As interesting as this college football year is, it's just gonna end with Georgia killing everybody and winning it all.
You think?
I mean, I think Michigan will put up a fight against them.
I think Ohio State will.
It depends on how they match up and who shows up to play. McCarthy doesn't show up to play, I don't think Michigan wins. McCarthy shows up and actually can land that deep ball, and Corum goes for 150 yards. Ohio State's out.
Things in Columbus.
And you gotta win.
I don't think Michigan.
And the Big Ten championship's gonna be easy.
Yeah, we learned that the East is that much better than the West.
I mean, a crappy little brother Michigan
Probably-
State team.
Probably the 5th best team in the East went into Champaign and embarrassed them. I mean, that was embarrassing. And Indiana beat Illinois too. So that's two of the worst teams in the East beat the West.
It would
West
have
and the West.
been worse if Wisconsin hadn't have beat Maryland.
Well, who cares?
They're both horrible.
Yeah, I mean, after that Purdue loss, they killed Maryland's little streak they had going. They looked really good versus Michigan.
Yeah. They got screwed against Purdue.
Yeah, well, 7 people cared.
That stadium was packed.
It was.
That stadium was packed. But
The Pac-12 race is interesting. I mean, you're so huge on UCLA.
I'm big on UCLA. I think UCLA, if they win out, they're in. Unless there's 2 SEC teams.
If UCLA gets to the college football playoff, I'll give you.
I said if they win out. I don't think they're going to beat USC, and I don't think they can beat Oregon.
There's zero chance that happening. I think.
I said I don't think that.
Caden Pence's probability of UCLA getting in, -3.
-3. I think 1 to 100% chance. I'm going with 7. 7% chance. That's very low.
What?
That's low.
7% chance?
Yes.
That's high. That is too high for that much probability.
All right, here, 4.
I can take that. I'll give them about 0.7. That's
They're not a 2-loss team. That's like a 2-loss team.
They gotta beat.
That's like Texas.
They gotta beat 2. Texas is out.
I'm kidding.
They gotta beat 2 top 10 teams. Then they have to beat. Then they have to hope. They gotta pray that 2 SEC teams don't get in, and TCU loses, and that they don't play Michigan or Ohio State in the playoff. Then
I don't think you can just look over a 1-loss Tennessee team. If they just steamroll everybody for the rest of the season and their only loss is at Georgia.
Thing is, if TCU goes, I think the 3 locks will be the Big Ten champion. If TCU wins the Big 12, they're in.
And the SEC champion.
Yeah, and then Georgia.
So Georgia, yeah.
So if LSU wins, that's gonna be a tough. Is it gonna be that 2 also SEC?
But that SEC championship's not gonna be easy for Georgia.
No, if LSU does,
I mean, it's gonna be a home game for Georgia. Don't get me wrong, because that's they play in Atlanta, don't they? It's a home game for Georgia.
I don't know, it's gonna be interesting. That committee show is probably gonna be the most. That's gonna be the most important. Because usually you know who the 4 teams are before the show even happens.
Yeah. This year, well, we have no clue. We know 1 team, and it's Georgia.
Usually by week 10, 11, you know. You have a
general idea of 3 teams. There's
know.
always that one little team that can sneak in,
Yeah.
like Cincinnati last year, Washington a few years back, Notre Dame a couple years.
Even already last year, they were a 1-loss team, and then
They almost snuck in.
by
But
circumstances they would have got in, but Oklahoma State choked.
yeah. No, and then we choked against Oklahoma State.
This is a fun year. I really hope it ends up in like a Michigan or I don't know, but
I hope Michigan ends up going back in. I don't like seeing Ohio State. I don't think Ohio State can compete against the Georgia defense.
here's the thing though. Do you think Michigan got worse or better from last year?
Better.
Better?
Way better.
Even after losing the 3 best players, think they got better?
Yeah, I do.
Really?
I think Corum's better than Haskins was.
He was better last year than Haskins was. Haskins had that one crazy good game.
Who was it against?
Ohio State.
Oh, I thought you meant like before Ohio State.
No, Corum was right back 1. McCarthy, I just don't know if he's that guy right now.
We don't know. He's young. He hasn't played enough great games to be able to know. We don't know who's going to show up. McCarthy didn't look bad against Georgia. They threw him in like at
Threw a touchdown
yeah.
on a March speed though.
They got Ronnie Bell back. They've got a solid receiving core. I just don't think anybody can beat Georgia.
From what we saw yesterday, if Georgia's away though, they can lose to Tennessee. They could probably lose to Ohio State. They can lose to Michigan. They could lose, no, I'm not gonna say TCU. They can lose to LSU.
A TCU squad that comes out, no, I'm kidding.
I
TCU has no chance. Their defense is, I'm going to use the word, abysmal.
Let's see. I just want to see what the defense is ranked. I haven't watched enough
All right.
TCU football.
If you give up that many points to Texas Tech, and like the tackling was horrible, they're giving up 50-yard. I mean, it's just. Watching like highlights of the game. Even you can just see defensive breakdowns. It's just gonna be like they just look like a team that'd get blown out in the playoffs.
Every team they played has just put up 20 or more. Tarleton State scored 17. Colorado scored 20. SMU 34. Oklahoma scored 24. Kansas scored 31. Oklahoma State scored 40. Kansas State 28. West Virginia 31.
Oklahoma State's not a good team, and me and you argued about it. Just because they don't have one player, and who was not that great, by the way. He's
Not
not.
Sanders is pretty darn good.
No,
He's
he's
in the
not.
Heisman race, but okay. Okay.
There's a lot of players that were in the Heisman race that shouldn't have been.
He's still a
You know who else was in the Heisman race that now we know shouldn't have been?
Who?
Will Levis.
Well, I was
Inaccurate, sloppy. I can't watch Will Levis.
I hope the Lions get him. I hope he doesn't
Yeah,
get
you guys
traded.
want another bust?
I like Levis. I still really like Levis. If his team just gave out on it, if last year's team he played so good with.
I don't know what he's proven to be a top 3 quarterback in this draft class.
He's good. He's big. He's built. He's tall. He's like Davis Mills.
Yeah, I want a Davis Mills on my team.
You
You know who I'd rather have? Bryce Young.
Yeah, well, I also want Bryce Young.
Well, if you had the first pick, you need a quarterback. Who are you taking?
Will Anderson.
So you need a quarterback.
I want Will Anderson.
Your team is stacked, but you need one player, and that's a quarterback, a leader of your team. Who do you want?
Between Young and Stetson. Yeah, I want Bryce Young.
I mean, I'm high on Bryce Young.
I still like Levis. I mean, his team just totally just kind of pulled the chair on him.
He hasn't
It's him and
won.
Christ.
Name one big game he's won.
I can't remember the schedule last year.
I can pull it up if you want.
I remember it was a big deal they beat Florida, but they ended up being disappointing. In the Kentucky football standards last year, he overachieved, and this year now with the hype he underachieved. But he had them one game away from the SEC championship.
21.
I'm big on Levis. I don't care what anyone says.
Kentucky football.
They also said Georgia, Tennessee, and then
Shoot, it's what 2021 now.
how do you spell numbers?
I know 3. Alright. They scroll up 21. Alright, so their only big win, they beat South Carolina by 6. They beat Florida, who ended up unranked. Oh, wow.
Yeah. No, when they played them, they were number 10, which was
It was dropped to 2019. Okay. They beat Florida. They beat LSU. Got smoked by Georgia. They lost to Mississippi State. They lost to Tennessee. They beat Vandy, and they beat Louisville. And then they beat Louisville, and they beat Iowa.
Kentucky standards, though, with no.
They've succeeded. I don't think they've been disappointing, but for Kentucky football standards, they've had a good. They've had enough here.
Well, this is a senior, right?
Yeah.
Dang it. Yeah, let's see. Yes. SEC race, got that. Alright. We gotta talk about the divisions. I think for the Big Ten, divisions are awful. They're so unbalanced.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think once again.
I think it should just be combined. I think it should just be
I think the
the
two
Big
best
Ten.
teams-
Or they split it with I just think it should be the two best teams in each conference.
What's
I don't
that?
think there should be a North and South in the Pac-12. I don't think there should be East and West and
If
SEC.
you don't play a team that year, you play the next year.
Yeah.
Like, even when the leaders and legends of the Big Ten, Michigan and Ohio State were not on the same side, but they still played every year. Even though they added 2 teams, I'm pretty sure they'd still rivalry week. You don't gotta play. You can still play. I don't know. And with how bad.
You know how
it
the
is.
ACC did it, where you play. You have your 2 teams. It's like I forget what the word they used was, but you have 2 or 3 teams that you play every single year, and then you rotate every 3 or 1 out of every 3 years you play one team. So Clemson plays like NC State, like 2 other people every year, and then once every 3 years they'll play they'll play Pitt.
Pitt. I don't like. With the Big Ten, sure, we'd be losing a Penn State House matchup a year, maybe 1 year out of 2 or 3. But then we could see in the Big Ten championship, which is something we wouldn't be able to see now, which could give the playoff race a whole different aspect.
Imagine Ohio State and Michigan play each other,
They need to
and then they
each
play in
other.
the Big Ten championship, and whoever wins, and if Michigan, let's say Michigan loses to Ohio State in the big rivalry game, then you go to the Big Ten championship, and Michigan wins, both teams get in, and that's good for the Big Ten.
Yeah, that'd be good for the conference. Big Ten's my favorite conference. Whoever gets in, you should cheer for them. But yeah, this divisions are crap.
I love the 12-team expansion.
I want it this year. I mean,
It'd be a perfect year to have it.
but see, look at the rankings.
And I think that a 2 or 3 loss team could sneak into that too.
Just depends who it is, and second stages of
Texas could.
like Texas, they could. They got the wins. They're looking good.
The roster.
Ro-
Texas is going to be a powerhouse coming soon.
Just depends how.
They've got the money, they got the NIL.
Something Michigan, for some reason, big school like a Michigan, they don't use the NIL. It's disappointing because they're one of the biggest universities. They have millionaires.
They don't need it.
I mean, it'd help. I mean, if other schools are using it, they're gonna lose out on kids. What poor broke 5-star would want to go pay to Texas, get $1 million, then go play for Michigan, work, and maybe get a car here or something?
Can't work as an NCAA kid.
So yeah, you're kind of living off what they give you, and then maybe get a car or something under the table, maybe a McDonald's bag. Unless you just go to Texas and this trip, and we're just give you $1 million. And their recruiting trip with Ewers there and all that, how much money they spent? Insane. And then all the kids committed, because that's NIL. That's why you need it. NIL is the future. You're gonna have to have sponsors. You're gonna have to have millionaires that are willing to throw the bag at players. You're gonna have to have,
That's
kind
why
of.
Miami's getting recruits.
Yeah, that's why.
I mean, Miami's been a horrible football program in the
They're
past 2
dumpster
years.
fire. They lost 45-3 last night to Florida State.
Florida State's not a good football team. I don't think.
45-3. Not saying Florida State's awful. They're above
They're
average
okay.
team.
They're
They're
okay.
above average team. They can.
But
But
I don't like Florida State personally as a program, but I think
when they're good though,
when they're good, they're good.
I like when they're good.
I think why is A&M getting recruits? They've been a bad football
They
program the last
are-
2 years. I mean, even
We're lucky
That's
Jimbo can't coach her. They'd be an easy natty contender every year. With the kid, see, that's why you need NIL. That's why Michigan's recruiting classes, they don't get it, and just gonna go. I think USC's got a great NIL
because
factor.
they're rich. They're rich.
Rich.
So is UCLA,
Yeah. I mean,
but they're gonna use it on basketball.
yeah. NIL is huge in basketball. Like, that's why if Michigan got, for an example, I'm just gonna use it because Michigan State's my team. We have a billionaire who would throw the bag, buy cars for players and stuff. It helps out. Our recruiting class has gotten up. But I know there's Michigan alumni / people in the program who could easily help way more and be the biggest NIL probably, but they haven't done it yet. And even Hunter Dixon spoke on it, how it's disappointing that there is no NIL. So for big schools like that, they gotta get the NIL going. Does Notre Dame do like they have a good NIL system?
I think they're strict about that kind of stuff. I haven't paid much attention until recently.
Yeah.
I'm a Maryland Notre Dame, and I've been paying more attention to Maryland. Maryland uses NIL.
You have to. I mean, that's how you're gonna get.
That's how they got Raheem Jarrett.
You're gonna get kids
Roman
by
Hemby.
NIL.
Like Raheem Jarrett came into the game with a Porsche the other day. Like,
Michigan State is about to get David Stone, 5-star defensive end, by NIL. That's huge. That's going to be game changing. He's awesome. His Halloween costume is a Michigan State football player. So I don't know how much honor obviously he can get. And his only other runner was Miami, and he went to the game last night. So I'm pretty sure we're good. Alright, you don't watch a team lose by 42, say. My team. Oh, but yeah, NIL is huge. You gotta have it.
see if Freeman could set up a good NIL program, and
Depends.
Notre Dame could be, if Notre Dame can, so,
They're already doing good without an NIL program. Imagine them if
they
they
got Carr, they got,
imagine they could throw a car in there too.
don't they have the best recruiting class coming in this year?
One of the best of all time. It's one of the
Yeah.
best recruiting classes. It's insane. Hopefully, we'll see what Freeman can do with it. But this will really show. I mean, even say next year, I'm not expecting him to go undefeated playoffs next year. The year after
It
that,
could happen, you never know.
I'm expecting the year after that for them to go insane. For them to just, that's when, even Notre Dame, they almost have to be undefeated. Which kind of sucks. So let's say it was early on, they almost got
That's
to
why I
be-
think Notre Dame should join a conference. But I think they're a little bit, one thing I don't like is we're a bit stubborn. We're a bit too stubborn,
Yeah,
and
like the
we want to
money
keep
from
our
NBC.
tradition. The NBC TV contract is huge, because if we don't have because if we go to a different conference, we don't have the NBC contract.
Yeah,
Every home game we get more and more money from NBC.
Yeah.
And that's why we play 3 o'clock games instead of 3:30, and it's on NBC or on Peacock.
it's annoying.
It's annoying.
It's so like
you wanna-
inconvenient.
You want to watch a Notre Dame game, you got to go to a separate app to watch Notre Dame play Stanford.
Yeah. And I actually saw something on Twitter about how the views are just going for, which is
Because Notre Dame football right now is boring to watch. I'm a Notre Dame fan. I cannot stand watching our offense. It is slow. It's tight end drags across the middle, run the ball. It's first down every time. Let's do it. Inside zone here, hand off, 2 yards.
Yeah.
All right, let's go with a little bit of an outside read option. 3 yards. Third and five. Let's go with an out route for 4 yards. 4th and 1 or punting. I mean, Drew Lock had 85 yards today. 85. And we won 35-14 against the number 14 in the country.
yeah.
And 263 rushing yards. I mean, it's so predictable, but at the same time, I think Reese has a bit of genius in him. If he can get the right program around him, Notre Dame's going to be hell on wheels.
Yeah, they're going to be dangerous in the upcoming years. So the top 10 is obviously going to change a lot with Tennessee, Clemson, and Bama losing. I think Clemson's out of the top 10. They kind of got embarrassed. I think Bama will probably stay in the top 10. They'll probably be at the 10th spot. So my predicted top 10 is Bama 10. I think UCLA 9. They're going to want to make that rush for the Pac-12 as competitive as they can get it. 8 will probably be USC if they just weren't impressive. They gotta just finish a team. They get up by 13, 20, and then they just let them get back in the game. Every game I've watched, they just can't put away the team, and then that's how they
Even
lost.
Cal, I mean, Plummer's not bad. I don't think Plummer's
Good
bad.
NFL quarterback.
Yeah, he's probably going to be a career third-string quarterback, which isn't bad. That's good for college.
Yeah.
But a playoff-level team or a team that's trying to be in the playoffs can't be close with Cal.
No. Even though they will. No. But alright, so my top 10 is gonna be Bama at 10. Alright, I think UCLA's gonna be 9. 8 will be USC. 7's where it starts to get weird because then all these teams can make a kind of a, hey, we should be higher. But I think that's where you put Oregon at 7.
I like it.
And then 6 I'll have LSU. That one's just huge. No. Actually, I'm gonna switch LSU is gonna be at 8. And then 7.
It's hard to move LSU too much higher because they're a 2-loss team.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep them at 8. They go up 2 spots, which is huge. Because I still think if they beat Georgia and TCU loses, they're in.
I think Bama drops out in top 10.
I think they're just in the top 10 because it's Bama. But yeah, and then 6.
This is my this.
Yeah, well, can I just finish my top 10?
I'm sorry.
Jesus, you run me 3 times in the top 10. 2 totally invalid points. Anyway,
Okay.
so at the 6th spot, that's where it gets a little bit weird. That's where you can throw anyone in there. But that's where I think TCU's gonna be.
6.
Yeah. They went up a spot, then quick time. 5, Tennessee. 4, Ohio State. 3, this up somewhere.
I know, that's so hard.
It's 1 Georgia, 2 Michigan, 3 Ohio State, 4 Tennessee, 5 TCU, and then that's, the rest. That's what matters.
You missed one, but we'll call your top 9.
Bama's out, so no one cares about Bama.
Alright, my top 10. The 10, or I'm going to go 1 to 10. That's just easier to think about. I got Georgia. Michigan after that Rutgers game was just incredible to me. I mean, how many did they score? 14? They scored 37 in the second half.
In a row.
In a row.
They held Rutgers to 0.
You said it right.
I have to, I feel like.
So Michigan at 2. What they did in the second half, insane to me. And their run game, unstoppable. 3 Ohio State, 4 Tennessee, 5 TCU, 6. I'm gonna go Oregon. Well, who else would be above them?
Right?
7. I'm gonna go. Yeah, you gotta have USC at 7. Then 8. This is tough. But LSU,
Yeah.
9 Ole Miss, 10 UCLA. Nope, 10 Alabama. 10 Bama.
Yeah. I think we got everything we needed.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and next weekend we got college basketball to review too. That'll be big. A couple big games this weekend. You got
Yeah, Michigan State,
Gonzaga
Gonzaga
on the carrier. That'd be sweet. I love that. Agreed. I think Clemson, South Carolina. There's just some mediocre matchups. Saturday, big games. I mean, college basketball's awesome. But yeah, I think we'll get that next week. Get them out.
See what teams look like a little bit.
Yeah, I'll say, because next college football, we'll do TCU is Ole Miss, Alabama. Give me Bama.
Yeah, Bama's gonna kill 'em.
I think
I think Dart will really struggle with
it'd
that
be cool
defense.
if Ole Miss beats them, but Bama's just gonna be mad. I think it's gonna come up Bama old fashioned.
Just like how they did against Mississippi State.
Yeah, they're gonna be ticked. They're gonna say, hey, I don't know, just Saban had his guys ready. You're saving his
They're at Ole Miss.
No, they're at Ole Miss last year.
Yeah, Bama's gonna steamroll 'em.
Yeah, so I think we'll get some college basketball next week, and we'll do some review on teams that have a good start, rough start.
Sounds good.
Yeah, all right.
All right. Good job.
Good job.
All right.